Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Sam Zagar. Today I'm going to be talking about body jumping again, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about what's a common thing I'm finding when I body jump my female clients. What am I finding inside women is a question that I was asked on a podcast recently. And the answer came out of me very, very quickly. I said, women are tired. Women are absolutely tired. Let's talk about that a little bit. So when I said women are tired, the visual that I got with that was a tranquilized rhinoceros. Think about something strong, powerful, hitting its end, crashing to the ground, and crashing with such force that it basically skids along the ground as it comes to a complete stop, or in this case, complete burnout. And typically when you're that far into burnout, you either have or are on the verge of having an autoimmune disease. A lot of the times people are going to come to me when they have an autoimmune disease. I'm not going to say too late by any means, but I'm going to say that there are likely places we could be catching things sooner. And because I work with human design, that's one of the first systems that I use to look for markers within somebody of why this is something that they're struggling with. When I think about how tired most women are, there are a lot of things that come to mind about why that might be. And I think a lot of people will go to a lot of societal reasons why women are so tired, whether it's carrying the workload or carrying the mental load or being solo parents. There's so many things that there's so many things weighing women down, and there are so many causes for why. But I'm going to look at the human design things, and in particular today I'm going to look at 4 centers. There seems to be quite a bit of correlation between physical issues developing for someone and the undefined center that there's a biological correlation to. When I think about how exhausted women are, right now I just want to simplify by looking at the motors. And I want to look at what is the not self in the undefined ego, the undefined solar plexus, the undefined sacral, the undefined root center. When I think about the undefined ego and I think having the will to prove, needing the will to prove, really working much harder than you have the ability to so that you don't get overlooked or abandoned. It comes from an unnecessary inner competition. Are you someone who has an undefined ego? And have you been trying too hard? Are you absolutely exhausted? Have you been attempting to use a lot of willpower that ultimately you don't really have? Are you burning this part of yourself out too much? If I go over to the solar plexus, the undefined solar plexus has an issue with truth and confrontation, and there's an association to the nervous system. I wonder for this person, do we have issues with truth? Do we have issues with confrontation? And ultimately the confrontation is confronting the truth, meeting the truth, admitting the truth, acknowledging the truth, having a conversation with someone else that the truth is involved with. Are we suppressing your emotions or your expression in any way? And are you not being given time to actually process how you feel? Are you having to work through all of the time when you really actually need your energy to be processing what's going on for you? So rather than helping yourself get through something, you're having to put that energy towards something else. And you're not dealing with things, you're burying them, and maybe they're getting put on a shelf to be dealt with later, but then they're not getting dealt with. Let's talk about sacral stuff. Not knowing when enough is enough. I gotta keep going. Now, we have a lot of fertility connected to this. If we are looking at the biological correlation, the ovaries and testes, a lot of fertility things, intimate things, sexual things. Here's a great question. Are you a woman who is working through your cycle when you are not in a space to be doing so? On the first few days of getting your bleed, are you pushing yourself too hard? Are you really guilt-tripping yourself about not being a good enough parent and not being involved enough in everything that's going on? So you're over-involved in everything, or you're over-scheduling things. And honestly, speaking of over-scheduling things, the root center. Are you under pressure? Like, I gotta get it done, I gotta get it done, I gotta get it done. I'm behind the gun, I'm running out of time. There's just a little bit more, just a little bit more. Like, do you keep pushing yourself that way? My question is why? If any of those were like, oh yeah, no, that's part of me. My question is why? Now, the truthful answer for a lot of you is you're gonna be in survival mode and you're gonna feel like you don't have a choice. These are not simple fixes. A lot of the times, if you're getting to the point of developing an autoimmune disease or having complete burnout, there's a really good chance that the way that you are currently living your life or the way that things are set up is not conducive to you at all. And there's a good chance you don't want to face that, or you don't want to admit that, especially because doing that means that you might have to do something about it, and you're tired. You're tired. That's what they're all dealing with. They're tired. So how many people are having to settle because they're tired, because they feel like they don't have the energy to be doing differently? What are the different ways that I can think of to, in general, support the women who are so tired? My question would be, if any of those not self things registered, my question is, what is your authority? What part of you does your authority belong to? In my case, I'm splenic, very immediately intuitive. When I have been absolutely burnt out and on the edge of disastrous health conditions, I'm not respecting my spleen. I'm not respecting what is healthy for me. I'm not respecting my ego motor. And I'm probably getting way too worked up in my other 7 undefined centers, and my not self is probably talking me into holding on too long and working too hard. And it kills me. I have the potential to be incredibly healthy, but if I am me and I respect what I am, same with you. You can be very healthy if you are what you are and you respect that. Now, again, so much nuance, so many grains of salt. I have to be so careful about saying why people have what they have. And this is not coming from a specific, like, that person has what they have, because to get specific answers from me about you, like, I need to body jump you specifically. But this wasn't a specific person. This was in general. What am I seeing in women? And women are tired. Women are tired. And what's really interesting is it is very different from what I see in men. What women need is support. What men need almost every time is nurturing. Women don't need nurturing. I mean, they do, but like from self. In many ways, they need to like turn their nurturing back towards themselves. And then there might be the question of like, well, the question of like the men needing the nurturing. What are we supposed to do about that? Especially if we're the ones who we need it first. It gets muddy, right? That's why this couldn't have done both of those topics in this one. I will do that in another one. I will do the what is coming up for men more frequently. Okay. If any of that resonated with you, if you want to share a little bit, I'm expecting the comment sections of these body jumping videos to get pretty interesting, and I'm pretty invested in reading them, so I'd like to hear what you have to say. On to the next one.